Take 4 million.
Hi guys, it's Ron Bass with another edition of The Ron Bass Show. It's your source for inspiration, encouragement, motivation, dry humor.
Sometimes we have that.
Mr. Brent Atterbury, executive producer.
Glad to know you.
Marketing guru. Yes, sir.
Guru.
Okay guys, we're having fun today. Brent and I are going
It's a beautiful day.
100 miles an hour over here.
It's a beautiful day.
It's a beautiful day in the Ozarks.
It is.
In the United States.
Yes.
One of my students just sent me a message. He's in Amsterdam.
Wow.
Yeah. I wonder if we have any Amsterdam subscribers out there.
I don't know.
He's having the time of his life, though. He's never been out of the country. Speaking of travel.
And that's where he went for the first time. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Travel, you know what? It's there's something about travel. It's an adventure, right?
It is.
You got to get out there and try new things, right?
You do. It's a huge learning experience. Yeah.
And you know what? It's cool to meet people from different cultures. I enjoy getting out, going to different cities. I've only been to one country outside of the United States, which was Mexico, but wow, that was a wild experience. The people are so cool over there. They're so nice and easygoing, and I guess, you know, when you think about like a lot of the people that live over there, they don't have a lot in a lot of the cities, but they're just so down to earth. They're so pleasant to be around. They're courteous. Boy, in the United States, you get into a really big city, and sometimes they're just not very nice to you.
I think it's the same there too.
But we're from Springfield, Missouri. It's a small community, and people are generally, by and large, pretty nice to each other.
Yep.
So I was speaking of ambition. At the bank today, I went in to make a deposit, and the teller and I were visiting, and he's a real good investor, young guy, married, kids, and he says, my wife said, you got to quit being so aggressive in your investments. And he says, honey, we're young. We can do this. If we fail, we can pick ourselves back up and brush ourselves back off and try again. But for the future, we have to be aggressive. We have to make investments. I don't know what kind of investments he's making. Maybe stock market, maybe real estate. To me, the better investment is real estate. If you're going to invest money, real estate, invest in your own business. Obviously, invest in your health, whether it's a gym membership or, taking trips where you're doing fitness things, like my friend at the gym that did the High Rocks event. She's still talking about that, and that's been like 3 weeks ago.
Wow. She's
still sore, but she wants to do another one, and she works out every day in the gym. It's always fun to go in the gym, and we talk to each other and visit, and she's probably in the best shape of her whole life. Fitness, guys. Fitness. Brent and I were talking a while ago about this longevity doctor. He said at 75 years old, the bottom drops out for men and women.
What does that mean?
Well, it means that you drop your cognitive skills, and your physicality drops to about 50% of its normal level.
Wow.
Yeah. And he was talking about how people at that age oftentimes trip and fall and break a leg, break a hip, and within a year they're dead. Like 50% of those people are dead within a year. So
why is that?
Because as you age without working out, you lose your muscle mass, you lose your balance. And you can't get it all back, but you can sure slow it down.
Surgeries, staph infection, I guess.
Yeah. Pneumonia sets in. When you don't have the energy level that you used to have when you're young, you just don't do as well. You don't recover as quick, and you're prone, and you're just very vulnerable to those kinds of issues, and you're just not going to make it. So I say all that to say this, guys. I know our listeners aren't of that age, but you have parents and grandparents and family and friends. We've talked about it before. You have to encourage them to get into the gym. You need to be in the gym, even if you are just 20 or 30 years old, because it keeps you ahead of the curve. I started late. I started working out at 61. But listen, guys, if I hadn't started out doing that 10, 12 years ago, there's no way I'd have the energy level that I have now to do all the things that I do every day. It's so important to go to the gym for so many different reasons. Plus, it helps fight depression. I read article after article after article about how exercise by itself can help to manage, if not reduce significantly, depression. Because it's all chemical. And when you exercise, the chemistry changes in a positive way. I'm not a biologist. I don't understand it exactly. but I just know it works. You wind up with some very natural anti-depression fighting things. Endorphins.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you feel better. When I quit smoking all those years ago, I remember running every day, and it really helped me so much to not have the cravings to want to smoke cigarettes. So I just can't talk enough about fitness, guys. And I'm not talking about being a bodybuilder or talking about, trying to run marathons. I get all that, and that's cool. And some people are into that trip, and I applaud those people. That's wonderful. But just spend 30 minutes a day in the gym, 30 minutes a day on a bicycle and running the neighborhood, 30 minutes a day walking. Now, obviously, you're going to do better if you go to the gym and you can lift some weights, because as you get older, man, your muscles, they just go away. I don't understand exactly how that's so. I guess because you start dying at about 40. Literally, the body just starts, I know it sounds terrible to say it, but the body just starts basically declining.
It's like a used car with a couple 100,000 miles on it.
That's it, man. And the only way to counter that is to exercise, like change the oil, tune up the engine, put on some new tires. I mean, it's just the way it is. So I know I preach about it a lot, I talk about it a lot, but guys, it's just so important. And I don't want to keep going over it again, but I just feel like it's important to talk about it every week.
Well, maybe knowing what we know about that falling and then dying because of it, do you think we should try and maybe invent an inflatable suit so when you fall you bounce?
That's a good point. I think
maybe
there's actually been that sort of thing that's been done before.
Okay.
Yeah, older people that they wear these suits.
I was just kidding.
No,
but,
no, I think it's happened.
Okay.
Okay, so here's a story about aging. It's a cool story.
All right.
This woman was in a really bad relationship. Like we don't talk too much about it, but there's a lot of domestic violence. It's the way it is, man. You get a husband and wife, and the husband's mean to the wife, and the wife can't defend herself, and he beats on her. And I don't understand why people do that, but that's just reality. So this woman endured years and years and years of this physical beating and mental beating. Just treated her terrible. And one day she said, you know what? I'm not going to take it anymore. She was almost 70, like 67 years old. And she decided to leave. Without notice, right? She takes off. She's been reading these magazines about the Appalachian trails in the mountains and how beautiful it is there, and how they have hiking. Well, she decided to do this. And she literally was just, when she left her home, all she had was just a backpack. No tent, no food, just literally just said, screw it, I'm going to leave with what I got on my back. And she started hiking. And she tells the story later, how it was so refreshing to not have to be around somebody that was so mean to her. And she could just sleep under the stars, literally, at night. And it was so quiet and peaceful for her. And it was so therapeutic, right? And people would come up to her and say, hey, you don't have a tent, you don't have a sleeping bag. She said, I don't care. Anything's better than what I've been through.
Wow.
And she hiked did the hiking, and it was something like, like 6 months. And I think people finally came up to her and tried to help her and gave her food. And, there was a lot of people along the way that really supported her, which is another topic that we talk about a lot, is helping people, particularly people that appreciate it. I get it, helping people that don't appreciate it, that's a real negative. But when somebody really appreciates you, hey man, give them the shirt off your back. My dad was like that. He'd give the shirt off his back to somebody if he really thought they'd appreciate it. So, make a long story short, to finish the story up, she did this multiple times, and she became famous for it. Like, by the time she was in her 70s, she was well known, well thought of all across the country, and they were doing articles on her. She was on television. I mean, it was a wonderful story to prove the point that you can break out of any bad situation if you're determined enough and improve your life regardless of the circumstances. I thought that was a really cool story.
Good story.
I don't remember her name. I don't have all the details, but I thought it's a cool story I want to talk about today.
Yeah.
You were going to say something, sir.
I was.
Well, I think so. Seemed like you had something on your lips getting ready to say something to me.
No, I agree. Cool story.
Speaking of running and hiking, David Goggins, he's like a well-known motivator. He's a fitness guy. He was a Marine. He was a Navy SEAL. And he's on TikTok and Instagram and all the different social media channels talking about motivation. He's a marathon runner. But he does ultra marathons, like 250-mile marathons. Well, I think we talked about that a little bit the last time. But the bottom line is he's had multiple surgeries, still out there running. I saw an article the other day on TikTok. This doctor said, forget the running. It's bad for the knees. It's bad for the joints. It's bad for the skin, blah, 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 blah. He said, get on a bicycle. So there's opposing views on this, of running. I ran for years, but now with arthritis in my knees, it's really hard to run, so I do the Stairmaster every day. Gives me the same kind of cardio experience, but it doesn't hurt. It does hurt to go down, but it does hurt to go up. So I get where he's coming from, that he's a real fitness guy. And he pulls no punches. When you see this guy talk, he's like, hey, man, get off your butt, get out there and do something.
Wow.
But he's got so much credibility, and he's been doing this now. He's 50. So he's been doing fitness now for 25, 30 years. And he says, like, screw it, I'm going to keep running, man, regardless. I admire anybody that's willing to overcome those kind of adversities and keep going, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm probably boring everybody enough. How about some breaking news?
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Well, I'm not sure why anyone would ever want this, but researchers in China have developed an artificial tongue that measures how spicy food is before it hits your bare mouth. You actually lay it on your tongue before you're getting ready to eat.
Artificial tongue?
To measure how spicy the food is before it hits your mouth.
That's
well,
crazy.
First of all, don't you know what you're getting ready to put in your mouth? And don't you ask, or does it say on the menu that it's spicy or not spicy? I mean,
jeez Louise.
I think you could just use common sense without having to go, I hope this isn't spicy. Let me put my artificial tongue in first to find out.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, it just it was published on October 29th. Yeah, new story. And then today is National Donut Day. Yeah.
Ooh, we like donuts.
Everybody likes donuts.
Yeah.
And it's also National Love Your Red Hair Day.
Ooh.
Love your red hair. I have a grandson that has red hair.
Okay.
Yep. And then this one is super important. Today is National Stress Awareness Day.
Ooh, we like that.
Yep. Raise awareness about stress today. So.
Perfect. Speaking of stress, guys, the key is, I was telling my friend at the gym, I walked in, I could see it on her face. She was stressed, and I looked at her and I go, stuff. She goes, stuff. I go, lots of stuff. She goes, lots of stuff. I said, hey, here's the key, man. Ma'am.
Ma'am.
This is why we work out every day, so we can handle the stuff, so we can get through the stuff, so that we can learn to be comfortable with uncomfortableness. At least manage it, because every day, guys, we're going to deal with stress and disappointments. It's just life. Nobody ever said we're going to get through this life comfortably. When we're kids, we should be taught this by our parents. And I think a lot of parents coddle kids too much, in my opinion. Anyway, that's why I love martial arts.
Heavy stuff.
Martial arts are great because you're in a confrontational experience every day. And so when in the real world, when you on the street and there's confrontation, or in the real world, whether it's business or family, you're not uncomfortable with that because you're used to it. Doesn't mean maybe you're not a little afraid of something, but you're not like backing away from it. You embrace it. Martial arts are the best thing in the world, man. I had a guy talking to me the other day about, he says, the sports side of martial arts is not good for self-defense. And then this other guy says, no, martial arts is great because you are in you're in a confrontational experience every night. So it helps you to be comfortable with confrontation. Mm-hmm. Two different schools of thought there, but I think he's right. I think even the sports side of martial arts is really important to help you on the street, and to help you in the real world. Mm-hmm. One last thing before we get out of here, I've got a subscriber that sent me a message about they feel overwhelmed about their time, about not being able to find enough time for himself. He's so busy with work and family, and he wanted me to talk about that a little bit, so I'm going to talk briefly about it. Look, here's the deal. There's 24 hours in a day. You have to block out, you have to manage your time. Like I physically write down on a piece of paper my schedule, and I'll leave spaces in there for like 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there for me. And I'll go take a walk. I'll set my phone down sometimes, literally, and I'll just go take a 10-minute walk to refresh my thinking, to get away from the activity. If you'll do that a couple, 2 or 3 times a day, guys, you'll find it's very refreshing. Take a 10-minute nap. They say a 10-minute nap's like getting 8 hours of sleep of an evening. It's the same kind of a thing during the day. Gives you the same kind of feeling. And by the way, I was reading about when you get older why it takes so much more rest, because the body doesn't recover as well, and you just need more time to sleep, particularly if you're working out every day, right? Man, some nights it's like I don't even know where I'm at. I crash out so much, and I think to myself, how come I needed so much rest? Because you're old and it takes more time to recover. Now, when you're young, I know you can get by with 2 or 3, 4 hours of sleep, but it's still not healthy. Okay.
And to those that it's hard to maybe do that every single day, like I know I don't, and I would love to, but I don't have the time to take time out for me every day.
You have time to take some breaks, but you don't take the breaks.
Right. The break, when I do take a break from what I'm doing, it's to do something either home related or family related, or
but you have to take time for yourself.
And I usually do that at least once or twice a week. For me, I usually reserve it for the weekends. But you're right, and I will say this, so I can wind down and sleep good. I sleep really good. Like I'm out. When I lay my head on the pillow,
you're out.
Within 30 seconds to a minute, I'm out. And part of that is because I stop working. I always make an effort to stop working, stop thinking about work a couple hours before I'm ready to go to bed.
I got you.
That just shuts everything down slowly.
I understand.
So
in my business, it's not that easy because my phones ring.
I know.
My phone is ringing late into the night usually. And the other thing, when you get old, you have to pee a lot. If you're a man, so you up and down with that. You have to get up and go to the restroom and get back and forth. And you might be in a deep sleep. So there's all kinds of things about aging, guys, that I know my audience isn't old, but still I like to talk about it because you do have family and friends, and it'll help you to understand your family better. I remember when I was a little boy, my father used to say, he said, Daddy had a good physique, and I thought, what does that mean? It means he went to the restroom. But when you're older, you recognize that. When you're young, you don't pay attention to that. But it's good to understand, what's going on with your parents and your grandparents and I think you can relate to them better, understand them better, and maybe encourage them. Get them to the gym, get them to work out, get them on a bicycle, get them to lead the way, take them by their hand, take them to the gym, get them on get a bicycle for them, ride with them, walk with them. Guys, you have to exercise, young or old. Okay.
My 14-year-old grandson, we're getting him a weight bench for Christmas. So.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
During COVID, I had weights in my garage that were left over from years ago, and I still worked out every day in my garage when I couldn't get to the gym. Okay. All right, guys, look. It's not rocket science. If you've got a goal, work your butt off to reach that goal. Don't hesitate. Pull the trigger. Take a shot. Take a risk. It's okay if you fail. Get back up. Set the goal again. It's okay. You're probably likely to have to keep doing that because if you set a particularly big goal, it's not that likely you're going to reach it so quick. But like I told you in the last podcast, reset the goal, set it for another year, give yourself some time, work hard, and eventually you're either going to get there or you're going to get closer. You may not get there that first time or second or third or fourth, fifth, but you're going to get a heck of a lot closer if you keep resetting the goal and keep making it a priority. Okay? So look, eventually if you don't give up, those stars, they're going to line up and you are going to be so much better off because you did not give up. Don't ever give up. So until that time comes, and even after that time comes, always remember, keep your chin up, keep your head up, and stay positive.